Good evening, and welcome to this edition of Labor Vision. I'm Bob Delaney, Executive Director of the Institute for Labor Studies and Research. Labor Vision, a production of the Institute, focuses on topics of importance and interest to working Rhode Islanders. We hope you enjoy this evening's edition.
We have a special guest just popped in to see us, Congressman David Cicilline, the 1st Congressional District in Rhode Island, who will be re-elected to his second term with our help. To introduce our keynote speaker, American Federation of Teachers Secretary-Treasurer Loretta Johnson, I'd like to bring up for the first time this evening my good friend and a strong supporter of the Institute, Frank Flynn, President of the Rhode Island Federation of Teachers and Health Professionals.
Thank you, Jim, and welcome everyone this evening. It's an honor and a pleasure for me to introduce Dr. Loretta Johnson as a keynote speaker this evening. Dr. Johnson began her career over 40 years ago as a teacher assistant in the Baltimore Public Schools. She is the embodiment of the American dream. She has risen through all of the offices, both in her local union, in the AFL-CIO in Maryland, to her current position, which is Secretary-Treasurer. It was a meteoric rise, and at the core of all of her existence is providing social and economic justice for workers throughout the state and our country. And we as a labor movement owe her a tremendous debt of gratitude, and I want to give her a warm Rhode Island welcome, Dr. Loretta Johnson.
Thank you, Frank. I bring you greetings from our president, Randi Weingarten, who really was supposed to be your speaker tonight. Her father is ill and she couldn't make it, so I'm standing in for her. And I also bring you greetings from our executive vice president, Fran Lawrence, and our executive council. As I sat out there and listened at your program, I was going back about 40 years of myself. I worked in the union, and I was a teacher's assistant, and I was going to school at night to get my degree, and I was a married woman with 3 children. So I had a family, a union life, and trying to go to school. So it just carried me back sitting and listening today. And I'm so excited to see the young people and to see an institute that is getting our people ready for the fight that we have out there. You know, to the adults who just graduate, it's such an honor to be here to celebrate with them. And it's such an honor to be here with this institute, 32 years old, who have educated thousands of adults across Rhode Island. Thank God for the Institute. It's really a lifeline for the future for adults. And it's sad, it's so sad, that the adult education programs are being put on the chopping block all across this country. This is so sad. In 2010, Arizona completely eliminated state funding to adult education, which served more than 40,000 students annually. In 2011, Pennsylvania cut adult education funding by 17%, and that resulted in layoffs of teachers and programs and hours, and eliminated all programs. And even New York, 2010, they had cut their adult program by 62%, leaving 8,000 people with no opportunity for further education or services to help learn the English language. In 2011, the Los Angeles Unified School District proposed eliminating adult education funding, but postponed it, a final decision after national attention. And I think we got to fight this. What is happening to adult education? I can keep naming states. I've been a fighter all my life. In Baltimore, I grew up. I say that word, Baltimore. I grew up fighting in the union. I started out as a teacher's assistant in a school where they didn't even list us as part of the faculty. But we made a change. We have to fight that. We have to fight what's going on. And when I look at the students up here in this wonderful program, why aren't we having this kind of a graduation in every state of these United States? No, what we have is cuts and more cuts. In my district, we almost cut out vocational training and apprenticeships and programs. It's a cut. We should do everything possible to help students and adult dreamers, to help them with their dreams and to achieve them. As I listen to the speakers one after another talking about the things that they have achieved in this institute, to lift people up and make them feel a part of society. Today, we have half of all Americans either poor or low income. 3 million more children to live in poverty today. More than 300,000 education jobs have been cut at a time when our children and our public schools desperately need resources and support. Educational opportunities are entwined. The only way we're going to succeed if we do what we need to lift all of our students up. I don't want to make this political, but I do. Because it is. Reagan started that trickle down. I'm still waiting for that net. That he said, if we give the breaks to the rich, they will some kind of way trickle down to us. And so we're still fighting that battle. We still hearing them words of 20 years ago when Reagan was in, that some kind of way the big corporation need this tax breaks. And we don't need to tax them, they'll take care of our children. But it's not happening. It's speaking of a future that could be dim. When I look at what is happening in our Congress, the soaring college tuition and student loans that are leaving our families with a mountain of debt. You finish school and then you owe everybody. So you're still on welfare because they deducting every 2 weeks out of your paycheck your student loan. We're fighting to keep that interest down, 3.4. If Congress doesn't pass a bill by July 1, we will have a double-digit interest for our students. And tuition will soar very high. You want to say we had some good news that the Republican Party finally decided to support keeping the 3.4% interest rate on federally subsidized standard students to keep the loans from doubling. The bad news is they want to pay for it through robbing Peter to pay Paul. You know how sometimes we throw the bills up in the air and the first one to come down get paid, the other ones don't? That's what they want to do right now with our 3.4. And that's just plain wrong. It's just plain wrong. If we don't reauthorize by July 1, we're going to have 7.5 million of our students paying double-digit loans. I don't know about you. I don't have any more sons at home, but I have grandkids that's in college, and I'm helping out. I was kind of worried there for a while because it was so bad I thought them sons was moving back home. Now I'm worried about them grandchildren. I don't want them to come either. So we have to fight. You know, I have a saying. I've been fighting so long. I tell my senator, my governor, I say, you see me in a fight with a bear, help the bear. We have to get out here and stop this and make a difference. And I think you and this institute is trying to make that difference. We passed the DREAM Act in Maryland. And we have half of our population wants to put it on referendum. But if we're going to help all our students have an educational opportunity, Congress must pass that DREAM Act. It's the right thing to do in the United States and for immigrant young people. In Baltimore City, we recruited 600 Philippine teachers from the Philippines. And now we want to send them home. The DOL and the way the labor law is, if we can't document, we fail the market value. And if we can't document that an American can't do that job, they send these people back. But we made commitments, and we're fighting hard. Each year, we have 65,000 undocumented children graduate from U.S. high schools. They are class leaders, valedictorians, honor roll students, kids who came to this country before they were 16 years old and worked hard and played by the rules. And they went on to go to college, or they want to go into the military and be teachers, nurses, doctors, computer engineers, and be a part of our society. And they should have that opportunity. That's what America is. We are a diverse organization. So I want to say to ILSA, right? The Institute of Labor. I thought I said it right. That I'm pleased with what you've been doing. And I congratulate you on the training and the services that you have rendered to this community for 3 decades, helping thousands of students and adults in Rhode Island. I also want to congratulate the 5 Eagle Award winners who are about to be recognized for their dedication and commitment to working people and others in the community. I especially want to say a thanks to the AFT. Our own Jane Sessoms, president of Central Falls Teachers Union. Congratulations to everyone, and thank you for allowing me to join you tonight in this special occasion and substituting for our president. Thank you.
Thank you, Loretta, for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us. The final part of this evening's celebration is the awarding of the Institute's prestigious Eagle Awards. This year, 5 exceptional individuals will join an elite group listed in your program book. Each award winner has distinguished him or herself through their working lives as leaders who have demonstrated the highest ideals of leadership in the workplace and in the community. Their merits, as you're about to hear, will make it abundantly clear why each was selected for the honor about to be bestowed upon them. The first Eagle Award will be presented by Ken DiLorenzo, Executive Director of AFSCME, Rhode Island, Council 94.
Thank you, everyone. When Roger and Bob asked me to say a few words about Mike Downey, I thought, how am I only going to say a few words? I thought, how can I describe this man's dedication to workers' rights in only a few words? Am I able, I thought, in a brief speech to accurately describe Mike's unrelenting pursuit to better the wages and working conditions of all public employees? I thought, am I able, in only a few words, to introduce a leader whose passion for representing workers is unparalleled in the labor community? I thought, can I describe in just a few thoughts a man whose name is synonymous with speaking up and, more importantly, speaking out against injustices for any worker, anywhere, whether it be a pension rally on the State House or a school committee meeting in Portsmouth standing up against privatization of the custodial staff, or simply standing up for what's right. I thought, is it possible to convey to you in just a few short words all of the years of hard work, dedication, and sweat this man has given to Local 528 at the University of Rhode Island Council 94, and the labor movement in general? Or I thought to myself, am I going to be able to tell you that despite how fashionable it is to bash public employees these days, that J. Michael Downey actually believes that public employees provide a valuable service and should be applauded and not insulted? And then I thought, well, I'm a lawyer. There's not a person in this room that expects me to just say a few words. But I will. Without any further delay, allow me to introduce and congratulate the President of Rhode Island Council 94 and my friend, J. Michael Downey.
Thank you, Ken, and more importantly, thank you to the Institute of Labor Studies for giving me this wonderful honor. When President George Nee called me some time ago and told me about this, I said, well, brother, I'm not retiring. And he said, oh, no, you don't have to retire, but something this fitting, I think, would be deserving of retiring. I do want AFSCME to know, a lot of my people out here, I'm not retiring. I'm hanging around a while. So then I thought of who I'm supposed to thank, because I have to thank somebody. Can't thank management because all they've done is deny my grievances. So can't thank them. So I'll start with my father. My father had license plate. One was AFSCME, one was Pickett. He was president of the Plumbers Union. He was executive director of the Allied Building Trades. And looking at plates AFSCME at 13 years old, I knew what AFSCME meant. Now, if I had a test in here, probably some of my own people wouldn't know what AFSCME meant. So I have to thank him for getting me involved. I have to thank the members of Local 528. Since 1983 till about 2011, I even wondered why myself, sometimes with very spirited competition from some friends that are sitting here tonight, I was elected president of that local till 2011. And I left upon my own. They didn't throw me out. So I have to thank those members for giving me the chance to be their voice. It was a privilege. I was proud. And I've used that voice. I know they've heard it loud and loud. Sometimes they tell me, Mike, stop talking. And Riley's ready to do that now. So 528 I would thank. And of course, I certainly have to thank my brothers and sisters from Council 94. I would ask all of them, stand up now, please, because they made me president of, I think, one of the best unions in the state of Rhode Island, my sisters and my friends from AFSCME. Thank you so very much. In closing, I certainly would have to thank my family, and of course, my best friend, Claudette. Her only problem is, she's a member of NEA. And I constantly have to hear, do you know what Larry Pirtle sent me now? And Bob Walsh sent me another email. And then Crowley, and I've had enough of listening to all of them. So thank you for all you do. I love you very much. And I can't thank all of you for this wonderful, wonderful, prestigious award that I'm very proud to have. Thank you so very much. I will keep this high so that my grandchildren don't try to teach it how to fly. Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Well done, Michael. Our next award goes to a community paragon whose tireless efforts on behalf of the less fortunate have earned her numerous accolades. Fortunate for us, this is one of the few nights that she isn't being honored somewhere else. So we've got her to ourselves tonight, and we're very happy for that. And for the purpose of an introduction, a good friend of the Institute, and our good friend, and just recently, last weekend, saw him inducted into Rhode Island Heritage Hall of Fame, the only man in Rhode Island that nobody doesn't like, Joe Walsh.
Thank you very much, Jim. It's a pleasure for me to be here tonight for this honor to Sister Ann. Who is Sister Ann? She's a young lady who was born in Massachusetts, one of 9 children. I think she went into the convent because her siblings wanted to push her out to get at the table. She got a master's degree at Fordham, master's in social work, and joined the Sisters of St. Joseph, where for the past 30 years, she has led part of the team ministry at St. Michael's. Now this award, the Eagle Award, is for leadership in the community. And she's been active in the community, not like a lot of us who work for nonprofits that are existing to help people. She creates. She created entities to service the people in her ministry. And she made it look easy. I mean, if you think back to Willie Mays playing center field, what did you notice with Willie Mays versus everybody else? He made the tough plays look easy. And that's what Sister Ann does. If you see what she does, you take it for granted. But she does very difficult things day in and day out for 30 years. She has created the Institute for the Study and Practice of Nonviolence. She has created the City Arts for Youth. Now, she got me involved in the City Arts for Youth because I lived in that neighborhood, South Providence. I grew up there, St. Michael's. So she asked me to chair the capital campaign for the City Arts on Broad Street. So I was pleased to do that. So I was down giving a speech in front of a group of neighborhood people and contributors. And I said, you know, this is a great day for me. I grew up down here. I was a pin boy in the bowling alley, Clark's Casino on Broad Street across the street. I hung around Cole's Ice Cream Parlor 1 block over, and I lived 1 block on the other side. I said, but I predated Sister Ann, which was fine until on the way out, half the people in the room thought what I meant was I was dating Sister Ann. So I said, I just ruined your reputation in the neighborhood. She created Good Friday Walk for Hunger and Homelessness, AIDS Ocean State, Community Boating Center, Open Door. These are all things that she made look easy, but she created out of nothing for the benefit of the people in that neighborhood. She's also the chair of the Providence Human Rights Commission. She's been honored by Justice Assistants and inducted into the Martin Luther King Hall of Fame. She believes that through example, engagement, love, and courage, you create a world of justice and peace. You know, I borrowed from George. I actually used it before George, but he put it on his website, Hubert Humphrey's line about the measure of a great society is how you treat the elderly and the young and the sick and the homeless and the poor. And that's what Sister Ann does day in and day out. She lives her ministry every day for 30 years. So I greatly admire Sister Ann, and I'm proud to have her a friend. Sister Ann.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe, for those fine, kind words. You'll meet me Saturday night, right? Isn't that when our date is, you know? I'm not sure whose reputation was ruined, really, frankly. It's tough, you know. Some of this evening, we're doing the laughing, and some of it is quite serious, as we know. It's a very serious time for us. So some of my remarks are a little unusual for me, because I'm usually like the stand-up comic, sort of the stand-up comic. So my remarks are a little bit serious, but kind of fun at the same time. This evening is a unique opportunity to congratulate the Institute for Labor Studies, all those involved, my pal George. 32 years of awards dinners, but many more years of dedication to the notion that every person is imbued with talent and with gifts, that education, support, and commitment transform an individual into a member with possibility, a future with dignity. Over the last few weeks, I have spent time reading the information on the website. Well done, I might add. The sophistication in the presentation of materials and the design are right up there with award-winning websites. But more to this evening is that the mission is clear at every page, at every passage, clear yet nuanced as only the Institute can be. Subtle, no. Nuanced, yes. Not a word wasted. The web and supporting philosophy is a powerful example of the methods used and espoused by labor to create a just system of employment, education, training, organization, justice and compassion and generosity. And in the end, there is dignity and integrity in work. There are many examples of the fruits of labor's struggles: just hourly wages, safe workplace, vacations, health care, just to name a few. I don't think I need to belabor that point, and I'm not sorry for saying that. But it is at these very times that a reminder or two wouldn't hurt. So, class size, minimum manning, 8-hour workdays, overtime paid, paid vacations, educational opportunities, trades open to all, bargaining, choices, choices, choices. Member or not, thank one. Just a little anecdotal thing at this point. My brother is a member of a firefighter team in Western Massachusetts, and his wife was terribly, very, very sick. And just a little example of, to me, in my family, where we don't have the occupations where you join a union. They don't let us do that. Never mind. We'll get to that on another day. Never mind. So his wife is very sick. I'll talk to you, George. And so that means he's going to miss an awful lot of days and weeks of employment. And so they're struggling, how do we do this? We have a big house, we have a son. His wife cannot work, very, very sick, and running back and forth from Boston to Pittsburgh, back and forth. So he misses week after week. And then when they were having one of their local meetings, Brian doesn't know, but on the agenda is Brian. So it's a little nervous, and he's as crazy as I am. So I wonder what they're doing now. And what they did was those members of his local give him hundreds of days of paid sick time or personal time. What it meant is that there was no worry. Your brothers and sisters in your local, Brian, took care of you. That's what it means to be part of labor. That's what it means. And so it's a recent reason why I know that this labor business is at the heart of American culture. Don't let anybody take that out of our hands. And the Eagle Award tonight, which is kind of humbling to me, very humbling, is particularly meaningful to me this year because we've watched, many of us have watched, get serious about this, the erosion or the attempt to erode the fundamental fair play essential to American society. When a state legislature, anywhere in the country, just saying, dismantles bargaining, there is erosion. When workers are shut out, there's erosion. When the poor are more poor, the rich even richer, and women fear every day for the dismantling of their rights, there is erosion. When infrastructure goes unmaintained, when higher education funds are cut, and the developmentally disabled are shut out, there is erosion. And just a little quickie. So when you were looking up eagle, when you were in grammar school, you had all these words. It was a Native American thing. It was in the spirituality thing. It was a symbol on here. It was peace, and it was military on symbols, and the president's sign, and all that sort of thing. But the two things that were in every description of the eagle was that the eagle survives. There is no predator. The eagle survives by vigilance and loyalty. That's how the eagle survives. So tonight, it's wildly humbling to me to be awarded an Eagle Award when I think of those two things. Because the eagle is aware always of her surroundings, taking notice, and then taking flight, as is her life. I must say that for a brief period, all of us, we were not as vigilant as we needed to be. We know that. I was as remiss as the next. Perhaps we missed some opportunities to lead and teach by example. Perhaps we were a little satisfied, a little comfortable. That's what happens. Success. We have to be really vigilant. We must constantly be the eagle, not me. All of us, vigilant and loyal. The challenge this evening and every day is to maintain our eagle eye of vigilance for justice in the workplace that leads to justice in society. Don't anyone, not any one of us, miss an opportunity to raise the issue of justice, integrity, and dignity at work. We can together be those eagle eyes of vigilance and eagle hearts of loyalty. So those are my serious remarks. But a real serious big thank you. This is an extraordinary institute of study and education and opportunity. A thank you to the people of St. Michael's, my own congregation, Sisters of St. Joseph, to Sister Joyce, who I work with every single day, to all of those notables in the room, which is all of us, and all of the other honorees. Thank you. And I look always, and I want to continue to be related always to the Institute for Labor Studies, and look forward to your leadership in addressing the justice of dignified labor in Rhode Island. And where's Carolina? I don't know where she went. But just to know, those folks up here learning English in this kind of a climate, si se puede, we can do this.
I'm going to give Sister Ann just a little bit of advice.
Do I have to take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Years ago, I represented the Greyhounds. And I went to George, and I said, George, I want you to put in the union the Greyhounds. And he said, how are we going to do that? I said, we'll call them athletes. And if he did, they'd still be running today. So, sister, based upon your relationship with your employer, I'd go to see George.
Now you know why we all love them. Both of them. The third Eagle Award this evening will be presented by the Institute's Board of Trustees, Treasurer and President of the NEA Rhode Island, Larry Pirtle, who will introduce the toughest woman labor leader in the state of Rhode Island. Right?
You know, when Val Lawson became president of the EPEA, you know what challenges she faced there. She faced a school committee, a city council, a superintendent, a business manager, and a lawyer who made $1.3 million out of attacking the union there. She faced them in their attempt to end collective bargaining, to cut back on salaries and benefits for the 500 members in East Providence. And you also know the outcome of all that. They're all gone, and Val Lawson is still here. But that's only part of the story. When you're a local leader in that situation like Val has been and like Jane has been in Central Falls, you can't escape the pressure on a day-to-day basis from the members in the community. But I will tell you, Val never wavered. When sometimes it was easier and sometimes her members wanted her to take a route that, it may have felt good briefly, but it wouldn't have paid off in the long run, Val never lost sight of the big picture. And the big picture was always her members. She also knew that to be successful, she couldn't do it alone. And with Mark and the AFL-CIO and Working East Providence, they organized the labor unions in East Providence to turn back that anti-worker, anti-teacher, anti-public education tide. That's the future of the labor movement in Rhode Island. That's Val Lawson. And you know, Michael talked about and Michael, I hope you got the robocall today. I did on the Union Bucks, okay. Michael talked about, you know, his wife being a member of the NEA. Well, the NEA Rhode Island recently became part of the AFL-CIO, and it's because of the leadership of people like Val Lawson who understand that we're all in this together. We all need to work together, and Val, it's my pleasure and a great privilege to introduce, I believe, not only a great labor leader, but the future of labor in Rhode Island, Val Lawson.
I'd like to thank Larry so much for his introduction. Over the past 4 years, I've sought out his advice and guidance, and he has been a invaluable resource for me. I'd also like to thank the Institute of Labor Studies for this prestigious award. I'm certainly humbled to be selected and to be part of such a distinguished group. My tenure as the president of the East Providence Education Association has been challenging, as Larry mentioned. It has been my honor to be the president and spokesperson for the East Providence teachers. This group certainly shares in my recognition this evening, especially those East Providence teachers in attendance. I thank you for your support and determination. It has meant the world to me. I would be remiss if I failed to mention the driving forces in my life. Their impact has been immeasurable. and I owe them above all the rest. This group is best demonstrated by the members of my Verizon friends and family list. At the top of the list would be my family, my husband Lenny, my parents, my siblings. I can't thank you enough for always being there. Where my friends and family list probably deviates from other people is with the number 463-9630, the number of NEA Rhode Island. At times, constantly connected, here is where I've relied on my union family for an assortment of assistance coming from every extension in that building. A part of that family, but not making the list, due to the fact that her phone number is a Verizon phone number, is my UNICEF director, Jeanette Willie. She's been available at all times for me, personally and professionally, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. In closing, I believe in our cause, and I will continue the work of advocating for students, teachers, and public education as a member of the labor movement. The work and vision continue, and like Mike Downey, I'm not retiring either.
All right, we're almost there. Our next award recipient, in my opinion, is the hardest working fellow in our industry here in Rhode Island. Incredible hard worker for his own membership at the Laborers Union, but also boundless energy and support for all the men and women in the trades in Rhode Island. And for the purposes of an introduction, we'd like to ask Dan Bianco, Secretary Treasurer of Laborers International Union of North America, Local 271. Danny.
Thank you, and good evening. Brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it is my honor to be here tonight to present the Eagle Award for Leadership from the Institute of Labor Studies and Research to a good friend and brother who exemplifies the very best in union leadership. Leadership and friendship, two words usually not paired together because so often the weight of leadership requires the courage to make tough decisions, to put what is right ahead of what is popular or appeasing. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "A genuine leader is not a searcher of consensus, but a molder of consensus." These words, spoken by Dr. King, illustrate that true leaders offer all people courage in the face of uncertainty and hope when all seems lost. For leaders have the ability to develop trust, to inspire others through action, and when faced with adversity, make personal sacrifices because they understand that the greater cause of mankind outweighs the needs of any one individual. Over 20 years ago, Michael Sabatoni and I started out in the Laborers Union together. And from the first day I met him, I knew he was a leader and he was a friend. He is a leader who challenges the labor movement each and every day to think differently and to fight with steadfast determination for the working families of the state of Rhode Island. He is a friend who stands by you on the front lines and not on the sidelines. And he is both a friend and a leader to the over 2,100 men and women who are proud to call themselves members of Construction and General Labor's Local Union 271 and the 8,500 tradesmen and women of the Rhode Island Building and Construction Trades Council. A second-generation laborer, he was born into a union family, Michael knows no other way but the union way, the right way. Michael knows what it means to advocate for those without a voice on the job site and in the halls of government. He knows firsthand that we truly are our brother's keeper, and he knows that workers' rights are in fact human rights. Brothers and sisters, it is now my pleasure to present the Eagle Award for Leadership to a true leader, a true brother, and a true friend, Michael F. Sabatoni.
Thank you. You know, Congressman Cicilline, remember that picture from Brown University when we were doing a speech there? I was the only non-Brown University graduate on the stage. I felt a little out of place. So prior to me, Congressman Cicilline, who at the time was then Mayor Cicilline, got up and said, would someone please take a picture of me? My mother would be so proud to see me at the Brown Medical School on stage. And I was up next, and I said, would someone just take a picture of me, period, because my mother would be proud just to see me anywhere in Brown, period. And thank you, Danny. As you can see, these tough acts to follow in my local union, Local 271. You truly are a brother and a friend, and I appreciate all that you do on behalf of the labor movement and also by keeping me in line and watching our bottom line. Let's hear it again for Danny. Let me also take this opportunity to congratulate my fellow recipients. It is an honor to share this evening with you. I'd also like to thank the Institute for Labor Studies. It's truly an honor and privilege to be here tonight and accept this award. We thank you and all your staff for all the hard work that you do on behalf of all working families, and a testament to that was to see what I saw here earlier today and the awards that we're giving out and the hard work. Nobody goes it alone in this country. Nobody got here by accident. And if we don't continue to do this, then there'll be less opportunities for people going forward. I commend you, Bob, and the staff for a tremendous amount of hard work. I know the heart and soul that you all put into it every day. Let's hear it for them also. And last but not least, let's not forget the driving force behind the Institute, or as I like to call him, General George. It's truly an honor, a privilege to work and learn from you day in and day out. I appreciate all that you've done for me in my career. Thank you, George. Receiving the Leadership Award tonight, the Eagle Award from the Institute, is a great honor for me, one that I cannot accept alone because of all the support that I get from my staff, my executive board, my family, and my union. For me, the education in the labor movement began when I was born. My family were construction craft laborers. My uncle Armando, my cousin Armin Layuna, General Secretary Treasurer, a couple of tough acts to follow. My father, my brother, my sister, most of all my cousins. I guess you can call it the family business. We were all taught from the beginning that responsibility, what becomes from being an active union member, a trade unionist. Did not realize then, but today, I cannot thank my family enough for introducing me to the union way of life and instilling in me a sense of responsibility to always be there for my fellow laborers and all our brothers and sisters. These lessons have always served me well, and now as a leader in the Laborers International Union and the building and construction trades, I instill those same lessons to the apprentices and members who do not have or will not have the opportunity to learn the way that I did. This is why the Institute is such a great resource for union leaders. We know that when our members come here, they will get the best teachers in the labor movement. The past few years have shown us just how important this cause is to the middle class. Without the labor movement, there would be no middle class, no opportunity for kids like me who came from working class backgrounds to rise to leadership positions and to make an impact on the world. In closing, I would like to say, on behalf of my family, on behalf of myself, and on behalf of my union, I thank each and every one of you here tonight for your commitment to the union movement, for your commitment for working men and women, and for you continuing the fight for America that we all know is possible. Thank you. God bless you.
final award winner this year goes to a recipient. Remarkable, incredible strength of character and courage in the face of fire. For the purpose of an introduction, I once again ask Frank Flynn to come to the stage.
Thank you, Jim. I want to congratulate all of the recipients, but I believe you saved the best for last. It is truly fitting for the Institute of Labor Studies and Research to select Jane Sessoms to receive this prestigious award. Over the past 3 years, as anyone who's lived in Rhode Island knows, Jane has been attacked by local, state, and national politicians, as well as administrators and the media, particularly on the radio. And through it all, she's handled herself with an inner strength which is unparalleled. Jane always comports herself with class and dignity, but don't let that calm demeanor fool you. Beneath it all, she is a tenacious fighter on behalf of her members, her students, and those causes which she feels are important. Her dedication, her endurance, her strength of character, her commitment to her members and to the labor movement in general make her the best choice to receive this award. Jane, on behalf of the Rhode Island Federation of Teachers, the Institute for Labor Studies, and the entire labor movement, please accept this Eagle Award in recognition of your outstanding service, but it comes with our sincere hope that you'll continue your leadership into the foreseeable future.
Eagle Award to Jane Sessoms, my friend and colleague from the Central Falls Teachers Union.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you, Frank, for your very generous and kind words. I am very honored to receive this special award and be in the company of such distinguished recipients this evening. I want to thank the Institute of Labor Studies and Research for the important work that they do, the services and programs that they offer, some of which were highlighted here this evening. And I would like to congratulate all the graduates and participants. Well done. I would also like to thank the Institute and all of you who have shown support and encouragement to the Central Falls Teachers Union during its very public struggles over these past several years. Your support has been greatly appreciated. I am extremely proud to receive this award, and it is a true honor. But I would be remiss if I did not share this award with every single teacher in Central Falls. I share this award with all the Central Falls teachers who, despite many challenges and oftentimes surrounded by controversy, remain strong and united in their commitment to provide the students of Central Falls with an excellent public school education. Thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Well, folks, that brings the Institute for Labor Studies 32nd celebration to an end. Thank you for your support. It doesn't seem right, I know. I said 9 o'clock, it's 9:30. Are we out? Let's go home.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Labor Vision. We appreciate your input and encourage your comments. Labor Vision can be seen 3 times each week: Tuesdays at 7 p.m., Thursdays at 8 p.m., and Saturdays at 5 p.m.